Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another top 10 comic books sold to readers. Now, this is what people are buying. This is what people are leaving the comic shops with. Comic-Con's a great list. That's what the comic shops are ordering. This is, out of those books, what people are leaving with. After this, we're going to go on over to Comixology, the world's biggest digital comic book shop, and find out what people are buying digitally to see who wins the week. Is it DC? Is it Marvel? Are it the independents? I don't know. That's what makes this list exciting. Now, these are the people who participate. So, by all means, if you're in their area, stop by, say hi, and maybe even buy something. And don't forget to support your own local comic book shop. Now, without further ado, let's get this party started. At number 10, we have Thor, number 8. Number 9 brings us Spider-Geddon, number 5. At number 8, we have Extermination, number 5. At number 7, we have Defenders, Best Defense, number 1. Uncanny X-Men number 6 comes in at number 6. At number 5, we have Catwoman, number 6. Number 4 brings us Infinity Wars, number 6. Evil, 666, watch out. Amazing Spider-Man, number 12, comes in at number 3. Justice League, number 14, gets the runner-up spot at number 2. And topping the list at number 1, Batman, number 61. Before we go any further, I'm going to take the role of the whiny little DC fanboy and say that really DC produced less than half of the comics this week that Marvel Comics did. So there is that. That being said, Marvel had 7 in the top 10. DC had 3. However, once again, being that DC fanboy finding excuses, DC did have 3 in the top 5, including first and second place. So, there you go. Anyway, enough with what I think about it. Let's find out what the comic shops think about this week's list. Batman shipped. So, Batman is in first place at FFF as usual. Tom King's Batman continues to impress with incredible sales and another great issue. Amazing and JL were close behind. Doomsday Clock number 8 comes in at our 7th place. And Batman Damned 2 at 9th place, even on their second week. Infinity Wars 6 and Extermination number 5 come to a quiet close, tied at our 10th place. They both did okay, but they didn't touch the excitement of previous Marvel events. Event fatigue is a real thing I see people comment on in the comment section on the videos. And it's not getting by all the readers that Marvel may have stopped doing a huge company-wide crossover every 3 months, but they are doing just a whole bunch of tiny little crossovers all throughout. Spider-Geddon, Extinction, so forth and so on. So they're still feeling that fatigue. Overall, we just had our best week of all time in our 25-year history lead up to Christmas. Last week was our 3rd best week in our history. This week included selling over 40% of our total sales, still being comics and graphic novels even on the biggest holiday shopping week of the year. Comics and TPBs are normally 53% of our sales, so we're impressed how many graphic novels and comics were still moving in our busiest December yet. We are also happy to see the new people psyched to read more about Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, and Aquaman because of their recent movies, bringing in lots of new younger readers. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. It is kind of nice to hear that, wow, you put out good movies and people get interested in reading about the characters. Yeah, they should do that more often, I think, especially DC. Batman will probably never leave the number 1 spot, but Aquaman climbed to the top 3 for the first time in a while. Hype for the movie mixed with hype for the new creative team and jumping on point made for a hit. Defenders is building a strong sub-list with people adding it every week since the Best Defense event started. Nothing else really surprised. No new book was the stocking stuffer favorite necessarily, but lots of people ended up grabbing previous issues of Stranger Things, making it almost disappear. Well, happy to hear about Aquaman. I'm glad it got, it's doing as well as it does. And even though I particularly found the story to be boring, it's not bad. It just, man, it could use some help to make it as great as some of the stories Dan Abnett wrote. But that's just me. And no, I'm not going to say I'm a different breed of cat, but I am. Great sales. Screw it. Let's go. Great sales week. People are starting to get their last-minute shopping done for holidays. Spider-Man 2099 back issues are seeing some interest thanks to a previous movie. Aquaman is seeing some new interest thanks to a certain movie out this weekend. The conclusion of Old Man Hawkeye led in the sales this week. Other notable bestsellers were Newcomer Shuri #3 and Firefly #2. DC takes first place on this week's top 10, but Marvel wins overall with 6 out of the 10 slots compared to 4 for DC. Batman takes 2 slots with Batman and Batman King of Fear. Spider-Man takes 2 slots with Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Geddon. And the X-Men take 2 slots with Extermination and Uncanny X-Men. The big surprise of the week is Freedom Fighters, which made it into the top 10 ahead of such books like Infinity Wars and Domino. It's like Noah's Ark over at this guy's place, 2x2x2x2. And I'm not really, I don't know. I know Domino sells. I see that I do this countdown enough, but that's just one I don't understand. I mean, at least Infinity Wars had the movie to push it, and it is a major crossover, but why be impressed about Domino? Anyway, that's what the comic shop owners have to say about this week's top 10 list. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. But for right now, we're going to go on over to Comixology, the world's biggest digital comic book shop, and see who wins the digital week. Can DC save face, or are they going to lose out again to Marvel, both digitally and physically this week? Starting the countdown out at number 10 is Captain America, number 6. Number 9 brings us Spider-Geddon, number 5. Number 8 is Thor, number 8. At number 7, we have Uncanny X-Men, number 6. And at number 6, we have Infinity Wars, number 6. At number 5, though, we have Amazing Spider-Man. It's Marvel Day. We have Amazing Spider-Man number 12. At number 4, we have Extinction number 5. Number 3 is Darth Vader number 25. In the runner-up spot at number 2, we have Justice League number 14. And in the number 1 spot, just like with the hard copies, Batman 61. Well, this ain't gonna be good. Now, once again, DC comic fan whining and complaining and finding excuses. Only 2 DC comics in the top 10 digital this week, guys. You gotta pick it up, seriously. That being said, Justice League number 2, Batman number 1, they're topping the list, but there's 8 of their brethren that did not make it into this top 10 list. Anyway, I do like to expand it just to find out. Maybe they're going to win the back half, but unfortunately, that's not usually the case. Usually Marvel wins. This could be the biggest loss DC has ever had. At number 11, we get Aquaman number 43. The score is now Marvel 8, DC 3. In the number 12 spot, we have Nightwing number 55. It is now Marvel 8, DC 4. Number 13 is Teen Titans number 25. It's now Marvel 8, DC 5. Number 14 is West Coast Avengers, making the score Marvel 9, DC 5. Number 15, it's the Defenders, Best Defense number 1. It is now 10-5. DC can only make a comeback to tie. At number 16, we have the Runaways. It's 11-5 right now. Wow, it's not going to be good for DC this week, is it, guys? At number 17, Image Comics helps twist the knife into DC with Rat Queens, number 13. At 18, Catwoman tries to save DC a little bit of faith. It is now Marvel 11, DC 6. At number 19, Life of Captain Marvel number 5 makes it 12-6. And at number 20 is Domino number 9. It is 13-6, Marvel's favor. So Marvel tied their own record for a beatdown, by the way. It's been 13-6 once before for DC. DC has never had a win this big, by the way. And as much of a DC fan I am, I have to report these things honestly. I may not like all the outcomes, but you gotta say it honestly. That's all. That's the code. Anyway, I checked just to see what would happen if Rat Queens were not in the was not in the countdown this week, would DC do better, or would Marvel have broken the record? And the next one was the Infinity War Fallen #1. So Marvel would have broken the record had it not been for Rat Queens. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. But once again, as a DC fan, they did produce over twice as much. I'm going to find any excuse I can for this particular loss. Anyway, guys, that's the countdown. That's my comment on the countdown and the whole 9 yards. I love doing this video. I'm very glad I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on this particular video series. Thank you very much for all of you for enjoying it. But what would you say is too high on the countdown? What would you say is too low? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like the video, please click like, share, of course. Let's get word out about the channel. And if you haven't done it already, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss anything around these parts. YouTube takes the notification bell a lot more serious than they do the subscription button, by the way. Also, this is where we're trying to make a living, so if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon, drop $1 in the till, or wait for the Ko-Fi to come up, because we're going to be getting that tomorrow or the next, probably the next, because we're still doing Christmas activities at the time of this recording, and you help us out in that way. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.